Hey guys, Office English lesson number 3 today. As always, I have prepared 3 very important phrases that you can use in the office right away. Let's start with the first one, which is not really a phrase, it's more of a verb, phrasal verb actually. That is very common and very important to use, especially when you want to communicate what type of tasks you do in the office, what type of tasks you are responsible for. The verb is to deal with. To deal with something or to deal with someone. For example, in my job, I deal with a lot of students. I deal with a reasonable amount of paperwork, and especially I deal with new people, okay, on a constant basis. I have prepared some examples for you to use this. Remember that this is the classic expression that you use when you want to communicate what your job consists of, what are the tasks and all the activities that you're supposed to do to perform at work. For example, we have hired new people to deal with let me try a new one, to deal with the backlog of work. Okay, we have hired, which means that we have taken in, we have selected, we have given work to new people to deal with, in this case means to manage, the backlog of work. The backlog is another very interesting expression. So on top of deal with, we also have backlog. Backlog is all the amount of work that accumulated over the weeks and days and that you haven't finished. So something that you were supposed to finish, but you haven't, and it's piling up on your desk. That's backlog, okay? It's never nice. Backlog is definitely one of the things that you don't wanna have. Okay. Same thing. Second example. She has a lot of correspondence to deal with. She has a lot of correspondence to manage. She has a lot of correspondence to deal with. Okay. You can say, how do you deal with persistent salesman that come knocking on your door every day. So how do you deal, how do you treat, how do you manage with persistent salesmen that come knocking on your door to sell you their services and products? Okay. Last example that I have, a very common expression when you want to indicate a difficult person, someone that is not easy. You can say he's difficult to deal with. He's difficult. You can also use it to say that he's easy, okay? Also the opposite is good. He's difficult to deal with. to deal with. He's difficult to deal with. It means that he has a bad character. His personality is a bit rough and it's not easy to communicate. Or the opposite is easy to deal with. It means that it's a person that you can get along right away and he's a people's person. Okay, so to deal with, very common. Deal means manage something, do something, especially in the office, especially related with work, with things that you do at work. In fact, it means have a relationship with someone or to successfully do something. Let's go to the second expression that I have prepared for you, which is again a fixed expression that you use in a very specific moment in the office. So the expression is, let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. You can also say, shall we? To be a little bit more, let's say, kind. You don't want to sound too firm or too like you're imposing something. Anyway, every time you have a meeting with someone, and before a presentation, before a negotiation, before anything that needs to be discussed, it's normal in English to do some small talk, okay? Small talk is essential when you want to do business with someone. So before you actually talk about work, you don't go in an office and sit down and talk about work right away. You sit down and you start chatting about the weather, the train that brought you to the town, the taxi driver, your family, your last holiday, mutual friends. Okay, so before you start talking about business, you have a little small talk. You chit-chat about non-important things that are not related to business. This is the way you do it. This is the procedure. After that, which should normally last 10, 20 minutes tops, someone needs to say, okay, if everyone's ready, let's get down to business. So this is the sentence you use when it's time to start work. Okay, it's time to start to do something. So you can say, let's get down to business, or let's get down to business, shall we? So it sounds like a question. I have prepared a couple of examples. Stop locking. Stop locking about. Stop locking about. And get down to the problem. So you can also get down to something that is not business. So in this case, let's get down to the problem, which means let's start dealing with the problem, to use the verb that I presented to you earlier. Let's get down to the problem. Stop arguing about procedure and let's get down to business. Stop arguing about the procedure and let's get down to business. So in this case, the sentence is used to call everyone's attention on the fact that we need to take action, we need to move on, we need to start working, okay, because it's not going to get any earlier, okay. Another example, I really must get down to some stuff. So once again, you can get down to study, to some cleaning, to some running, some training, to whatever needs to be done. So to get down to something. But of course, in the office, this is the most common use of let's get down to something. So let's get down to business is the second sentence the second phrase, the second expression that I have prepared for you today. Let's jump to the third one. Of course, while I clean the board, let me remind you that the full course is only available on leventenglish.com. Okay, now we have another phrasal verb, which is to go through something. To go through something. To go through something, of course, has a physical meaning. You can go through a door, okay? You can go through the park. You can go through the living room, okay? As in walking in the middle of something, which is, okay, it's understandable. But in this case, I would like to present a different use of to go through. In this case, we're talking about going through a document, going through some papers, going through a contract. So if you go through a document, if you go through some pages, if you go through a script, it means that you read it carefully to analyze it. So you take a look at it in great detail because you're looking for some mistakes, or you want to make sure that there are no mistakes, that everything is in order, or because you are curious to see what information it contains. So to go through something means to read something very well. So go through, it means that you read every single word, every single line, every single paragraph. So that's going through something. I have a couple of examples. She went through the script carefully. To eliminate errors from it. Okay? And the second example is very similar. Please go through the document and make sure it's all okay. So these are the three expressions of today. So deal with something, let's get down to business, and to go through something as in analyze it. Once again, if you have any questions, just drop a text message via WhatsApp and we will respond to you right away. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon.